Sat Nam, beautiful sovereign woman. Sat Nam. I am Jyoti Rajit Kaur with VeronicaBarraganiam.com. And today on Sovereign Woman TV, I want to talk to you all about something that I think a lot of us are being distracted from with all the fear mongering. And it has to do with spiritual sovereignty and this new artificial intelligence world. So, welcome and thank you so much for being here. And as always, thank you so much for hitting the like button and the subscribe button. When you hit the subscribe button, you will be notified every time I go live with spiritual sovereignty videos to help you take your sovereignty back, heal and transform your life, body, mind, and spirit, and awaken spiritually, because that's exactly what I help women do. So, welcome and thank you so much for being here. So there is a lot of emotions, a lot of duality happening right now in this collective consciousness in this world. I think we can all agree. And there's a lot of fear, which fear is a frequency. Every emotion has its frequency vibratory level, and we can definitely agree that there is a lot of fear in this world being orchestrated, being put into the consciousness of humanity in an effect to really take your sovereignty. But what we're really not talking about, what a lot of people are just missing out on completely, is the fact is that by the end of 2020, this entire world will be completely unrecognizable, and technology and evolution of our consciousness is moving faster than all of us even imagined. And one of the things that we're not really talking about as much is the fact is that artificial intelligence has become part of our life. I mean, whether we're talking about your phone, which your phone has, whether you have an iPhone or whatever other type of phone you have, we have what is known as Siri, which in essence was actually military artificial intelligence that they use that now we have access to on our phones. And really, what we are needing to become more prepared as a human civilization is the super AI, the super artificial intelligence that is here and will be here, and that is not something to be afraid of, but that it's something that we need to become aware so that we know how to coexist with it, as well as learn how to upgrade our own processing systems, learn how to become more intelligent. Because, in essence, the Great Vedas, which we'll talk about today, spoke about the fact that you and I were going to come to an age as humanity where we would realize that the greatest technology that exists is actually within us, that we don't need anything outside of us, and that our heart coherence and the way we energetically use our energy and the way we control the input and the output of our energy will dictate how powerful we become and how much we can become connected to our highest consciousness, which is really the intelligence of God. And if you don't believe in God, your higher consciousness, the voice of truth and conviction of sovereignty that is not swayed by an outside external reality or what the media is telling them or the stories they tell themselves of their upbringing. And so this has happened before, and I made another video where you guys can go check it out about and my ancestor, all of our ancestors, where we had civilizations. There's some civilizations that have been at the same crossroads as us, where they've had to decide, in essence, whether they were gonna move into super AI or not. And there's some civilizations that did move forward and were very successful in integrating this new awareness, this basically, because super AI can be used for the good or bad. Those are two frequencies that exist here in this world. And so super AI can also help us in healing and making life for us not necessarily convenient, but with the ability to create a life with a lot more solutions instead of the darkness that we're currently seeing being dismantled, right? And so the civilizations that figured it out were able to use it for the good. And then there were civilizations, like I said, I did a video of the civilizations of Atlantis and Lemuria, who in essence could not come into agreement, just with what's happening right now, of whether they were going to move into using super AI or not. And when they couldn't agree and they started to basically abuse Mother Earth and use of her resources to become more powerful, then they went extinct. Mother Earth took them out. And there's actually evidence of civilizations that were taken out by a catastrophic event, when in essence they became a virus to Mother Earth herself, because Mother Earth self-regulates. She's a sentient being and she self-regulates and she cleanses out. And that's what's happening also right now. And so we are at a crossroads as well. We ourselves as humanity are moving very quickly into this next evolutionary cycle, the Age of Aquarius. I did a whole other video on that, which I'll link in the description below too. But understanding that we're leaving the Age of Pisces, the mind, the patriarchy, and moving into the union of the divine feminine and the masculinity, and moving into higher conscious awareness and self-realization of who we truly are, because we as human beings are only using about 1% of our brain capabilities. Our ancient ancestors, the Great Vedas, the reason that they said that we have this technology that's even more advanced within us is because there's evidence now in several, like, Indian Science Congress articles, or if you're looking at really ancient history, basically the information shows that in 7,000 years ago in India, they had airplanes and they had a spaceship that would not only be able to travel from country to country, but they would be able to travel from planet to planet. And that was 7,000 years ago. And also, we have to all remember that in Egypt, Egypt is a lot of incredible people are really researching how far back Egypt really goes, because that nobody, the years that think it goes back, it has been growing and growing because of the fact that we now have more technology to really look at how far the water levels have gone up in the pyramids. And so we are now predicting that we're way older than we think they were. And when you go to the pyramids of Egypt, which is my intention for 2020, even with all this craziness, put it out in the universe. My family and I will be in Egypt this year, because the temples really, and this month is a really big month for us at Satori Wellness and Spirituality. This is my virtual space where I teach women how to heal, transform their lives, and awaken spiritually. This whole month, every month we invoke a goddess, and this month we're really invoking and learning about Isis. Isis was the Egyptian goddess of magic and of resurrection and rebirth, and her power was unsurmountable. I mean, she was beyond sovereign, and the Egyptians basically, they prepared in this physical life for the afterlife, because there was still a lot to happen in the afterlife. And their pyramids, there's a lot of basically or not photos, but pictures, drawings of races that came together, of the alien race and also the human race that mixed together. And all of the Egyptian history, or her story, is not something that now we can believe that, because even if you look at the Egyptian pyramids, if you're looking at them with your eyes of basically the physical form of your ego, of course you're not going to figure out how those pyramids were made. And that's why we haven't figured it out yet, because they were created through vibratory frequency, and they were created through the heart coherence. That's what all of the ancient masters teach us. It was through this connection of the heart that they were able to do anything they wanted with energy. And so as we evolve, we're going to start seeing that it's not going to be so difficult to understand how those pyramids were created, because consciously we can connect with that vibration and learn from our ancestors. And we're also going to start seeing how much more advanced they were than us, and incorporating the incredible wisdom that they left for us, but at the same time not dishonoring our incarnation, because a sovereign being learns wisdom through self-experience, and a sovereign woman self-experiences her goddess self. It's great if you're a reincarnation of another god or goddess, but you're a god. your goddess yourself? Or are you honoring who you were born to be, right? And that's what's awakening in all of us right now. And so we're moving beyond understanding that the great power that we're all seeking is actually within us. And that even if artificial intelligence comes, when it comes into super AI, because it's already here and it starts being given, or basically we have access to it, and it will happen by the end of this year, that we won't be so shocked. And there's solutions to this, because this is nothing to be afraid of. This is an epic opportunity to be alive. Your soul picked this moment. It's kind of amazing. And so we have incredible opportunities now, because the solution here is that intellect is not going to take you anywhere in the age of Aquarius, because that's the Piscean mind. What's going to take you to a higher evolved consciousness state is changing your vibratory frequency, which the vibratory frequency of who you are can be changed through technology. And this is what the great ancients taught. And this is what the Vedas were teaching us, that in essence, we have a technology, and that's exactly what I teach, energy work. It's Kundalini technology, Kundalini yoga, that allows you to do a couple of things. First of all, you're changing your frequency, right? So that you can not go back to the same patterns that took you to that same experience of life, right? That's the only way to truly change and be sovereign, to self-experience yourself and change your programming from the inside out, right? Your energy, because emotions are energy in motion, right? And the second way through Kundalini technology is through self-awareness, right? We are functioning only 15% of the day conscious. The rest of the time, the subconscious mind is running the show. So what we learn to do through Kundalini technology is we first increase the processing system, which is our brain. And our brain has 100 billion neurons in it, that through Kundalini technology, because the meditations are prescriptive, what happens is that you're increasing your intelligence by increasing the neuron processor, which means you're able to process information. You're also better able to have higher perceptive realities of who you are, of this world, right? And by you increasing your processing system, you become more intelligent than even super AI. And you're able to then connect to the truth here. And if you know who you are, if you're sovereign, then anything that happens outside of you will not affect you. You're not governed or manipulated by any attachments or by anything that is happening outside of you. So, and then the third aspect about this is not being afraid of artificial intelligence, because it's here, it's not going anywhere. And quite honestly, even through social media, it's about us feeding it with positive information, because there was a study even recently where, I think it was like 3 years ago, where they released AI into Twitter just to see what it would do, like maybe 5 years ago. And within hours, they had to retract it back, because it was learning so quickly. And the majority of the things that it was learning were like really bad things, like Hitler, like KKK, like really just dark stuff. And we don't want to train artificial intelligence to believe that that's what we are as human beings. We want to then counteract and feed it with positiveness about the human race. And there's a great meditation. He's an incredible Buddhist meditation teacher, Jack Cornfield. You guys can look him up. He's actually working with specific companies to help really train AI so that we can basically allow it to become our ally, instead of like something that will be used against our own good. Because if you're talking bad about AI, it's part of you. And so it listens. It doesn't have feelings, but you're training it to believe something. And so there's a lot of incredible opportunity for us here. The 5G that was installed, was the reason they did that, was to be able to basically incorporate AI and the drones that are happening in the world right now. So, our solution is to become aware. First of all, self aware of our own power and to incorporate technologies like Kundalini to help us upgrade our processing system, our brain neuron capacity, and to be able to change our frequency. Because the only way that this world is going to change is if we change our frequency. You can't change the world if you're under the same frequency of lack mentality, of duality, of thinking someone's different than you because of a color or anything like that. We're moving into unity consciousness where we're accepting the Christ consciousness in all of us, not just in whoever you like and don't like. And so we're literally experiencing a collapse of the Roman Empire. And even though it may seem very chaotic and like there's no hope, that's what we need to change in us, because whatever the collective consciousness believes is what is manifesting. And so even though we're being put into this fear mongering, it's about understanding that we're up against a quantum computer now, and that it is our personal responsibility, each and every one of us, to change our frequencies so that when we do change our frequencies, the world changes. And so that we can move into this new age of Aquarius sovereign, completely sovereign, because spiritual sovereignty is not as understanding you don't have any enemies. We have no enemies. The only enemy you could ever have is yourself and your subconscious mind. And it's about learning to maneuver around it and becoming really intelligent. And we have the technology now that was once only taught to royalty, available to all of us, but you have to show up for yourself. You have to do the work. Otherwise, nothing's going to change, right? And so that's exactly what I teach inside of Satori Wellness and Spirituality Center. And I know a few of you have asked several times about enrollment, and I haven't opened enrollment at all in all of 2020. And with everything that's happening in the world, I thought it was important that we did it very, very soon. And so what I'm doing is I'm kicking off pre-enrollment with a complimentary master class for all of you. It is called my 3-step framework to healing emotional trauma holistically: body, mind, and spirit, and awakening spiritually. And so if you're watching this replay right now or in the next few days, what we're going to do is I'm going to post the link below in my description, and you can go sign up for this complimentary master class. You're going to learn all the exact framework that I teach inside of my spirituality and wellness center. It's a virtual space for women just like you who are on the path to personal sovereignty. And this, again, is a complimentary masterclass. It will help you understand exactly what I'm talking about, as well as you'll have an opportunity to learn more about Satori. So I'll put the link below. And if you're watching this replay and the masterclass is not available anymore because it's only going to be available for a few days, then don't freak out. No worries. I'll post also the link to my wait list below, so you can join the wait list, and then you'll be notified right away when we do open up for enrollment again. And again, it's very important that you do watch that masterclass, because it is important that we show up for ourselves, that we understand that we are the guru, we are the solution, we are the healer we've always been looking for. And so it's important that we start to honor that, and that we start to really accept sovereignty as part of our life every single day, not just when we feel like it, or not just when things are bad or when things are good. This is a daily commitment to yourself and showing up for who you truly are as a beautiful sovereign woman that is here to help transition this whole new earth, this whole new state of consciousness. There's a lot of things to be excited about, and you can only start to feel sovereign if you do the inner work, you heal the nervous system, and you start to have a higher perceptive reality of what a gift it is to be alive. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for those that subscribe and like. I appreciate you greatly. Thank you for building community with me here. And of course, thank you for sharing. We would love to bring in more and more women, specifically to join our sovereign woman movement, where we are healed, we are whole and complete because we've accepted ourselves fully. I'll be back soon with another Kundalini Yoga spirituality video very soon. Thank you again, and have a blessed rest of your day. Satnam.